Wabash Carnegie Public Library Oral History Program, Wednesday, July 17th, 1974, interviewing Mrs. L. J. Evans at her home, 65 East Maple Street, Wabash, Indiana.
First question I'm going to ask you is when and where you were born and who your parents were.
I was born in Wabash, 830 Pike Street.
At what year?
In 1898.
1898. And who were your parents?
And my father was Jesse Hutchins Jones, and my mother was Alice Davis Jones.
And what did they do for a living, your father?
Well, father was a dairyman and a farmer and a shipper of hay and grain.
Was that Jones Dairy?
Well, there was another Jones Dairy in later years, but this was the Jesse Jones Dairy, the early Jones Dairy. Mm-hmm.
And your grandparents, do you remember your grandparents?
No, they died before I was born, but I've heard so much about them, and we own a home in which they built out south of town, 2.5 miles.
Uh-huh. What was their back? What is interesting?
Well, that was Daniel T. Jones and Sylvia Hutchins Jones. All those are Wabash names, you know.
Mm-hmm. And those were your grandparents?
My paternal grandparents.
Yeah.
My maternal grandparents were John Marshall Davis. He, by the way, was named for his grandfather, who was John Marshall, the first Chief Justice of the United States. And Judith Anthony Nordike and Abraham Nordike, who lived on the Mississinawa.
How did these people get?
They were my great-grandparents.
How did they arrive in Wabash County? What was the reason?
I haven't looked into the Jones history. I know the Davis history. They came to Indiana from Ohio and from Virginia and North Carolina. But they came into the state of Indiana in 1818, around Newcastle. Now, they were all Quakers, you know. And then they came to Wabash, and we had a Quaker settlement here. The Joneses were already here. And they came up here. The Davises came here in 1848.
Were you raised Quaker then?
Yes, I'm a birthright member of the Friends Church.
And tell me about your early family life and education in Wabash, where you grew up and what it was like and so forth.
Well, mother was the oldest of 6, and father was the oldest boy of 6. And they had a family of 4, and I was the youngest. And our house was full of people all the time. And we had a very gay and happy life, which doesn't sound like a Quaker existence exactly, but it was. And I went through the Wabash schools.
You went to the South Side School?
Yes, South Side School, and then Wabash High School on Hill Street.
What year did you graduate?
1916.
1916.
I have a brother living who would be 91 in September.
He's still living?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Here in town?
No, he lives in Dallas, Texas. And I have a sister living who is in Arlington, Virginia.
How old did your parents live to? What ages?
Mother was 75 and father was 68.
Well, they had comparatively long lives considering that time of in our history when people didn't live too long, really.
Yes, although the older generation lived a long time. My great-great-grandfather lived a very long life.
But, of course, you didn't see him, though.
No.
Yeah. What did you do after you got out of high school?
Well, I went to Northwestern University, to the School of Speech. And after that, I taught in various places.
Where did you teach?
Well, I taught You want all the names,
Well,
wrong place. And I
I think-
taught at Wilmington College in Ohio, and Chadron State Teachers College in Nebraska, and the Arsenal Technical Schools in Indianapolis, and Gulf Park College, and Syracuse University.
And you taught public speaking or
Yes.
elocution or speech at all
Yes,
these institutions? right?
literary interpretation and dramatics.
Yeah. Anything interesting happen in those days where we talk about women's suffrage and prohibition and that? Tell me some of your experiences. I'm sure as a public speaker you must have been called upon to do some of that.
Well, in high school days, of course, it was the time of Chautauqua, debate, and the prohibition issue was before us, and also women's suffrage. And naturally, I was interested in the women's suffrage movement because the Quakers always believed in equal rights for women and equal education for their women. And my great-grandmother, Judith Anthony, was a relative of Susan B. Anthony, and of course I'd always heard about her. So it was natural that I should debate on that side. Now, Mother was a member of WCTU, so she had me speaking all around in contests they used to sponsor. I have a bronze and a silver and a gold medal. And went over the state speaking too for prohibition.
But as you never actually paraded for
No, I
women's
don't
suffrage or-
remember any parades in those days of that type. It was a peaceful, calm time, the first 18 years of my life. Oh, we may have gone out in the streets and let off a little steam, but there were no organized parades that I recall.
And WCTU was in this area. I was just reading the 100th anniversary
Yes, I
edition.
know
Have you
it's
read
very
that?
time. I know I have.
But Wabash County here was always very strong in the WCTU. Now, was your mother active?
Yes, Mother was very active in
Was
that.
she president of the local chapter or anything?
I don't remember that she was president, but she went around with all the children in these contests and took charge of that division of the work. And we had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah.
We didn't know anything about liquor and its effects, but we had fun.
Yeah. Well, it didn't do any harm anyhow.
No, all that came on later.
Yeah. Well, of course, the Volstead Act came in probably when you were at Northwestern and made a great change. So maybe you felt that your speeches had some effect on
Well, maybe so.
Did you enjoy your college days at Northwestern?
Yes, very much.
Did you?
Hmm.
Where did you live?
I saw that. Well, I lived various places, but I saw that school develop from the very beginning. Dr. Cumnock had partially retired when I went there, and he was the founder of the school.
Was that expensive in those days?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
The tuition was high because we had private lessons, and our training, of course, was in depth, much more than it is today.
Were you the only one in the family to go to college?
No,
Uh,
no. My sister went to college, and even my father and mother went away to school. Father went to Valparaiso, and mother went to Westfield Academy.
That must have been rather unusual back in those days, particularly for your parents to have attended college.
Well, it wasn't for the Quakers.
It wasn't for
They
the-
established many of the schools
Uh-huh.
in the East and around here.
So your family then was education oriented then?
Yes, they were.
and, felt that the girls as well as the boys should have an education.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, when did you you were teaching all these years? When did you get married then?
In 1933.
In 1933. You would have been 35 years old.
Almost.
Almost 35 years old. Yeah. And how old was Mr. Evans?
The same age.
Same age.
We went all through school together here, Wabash.
Oh, did you?
Mhm.
Yeah. So you really met in high school, and
Oh, yes, we'd known each other all those years.
did you think that was rather unusual, waiting so long to get married?
I was so happy doing what I was doing. I guess it was unusual, but the time slipped by in a hurry.
Then, did you take up housekeeping here in Wabash?
No, we were in Columbus. Jim had been down there 5 years. And then we moved to Wabash a year later. And then our son grew up in Kokomo.
And you just had how many children?
One.
Just one. One son.
One son.
Yeah.
And we moved back to Wabash when we retired.
Did the Depression affect you at all?
Oh, yes. I think it affected everybody.
In what respect?
Well, the loss of money.
But you worked all the time.
Yes, I worked all the time. But everyone had lost money.
Yes.
And,
Your income was reduced, in other words, but not.
Oh, yes.
But not eliminated.
No.
Yeah. Were you still teaching then?
Yes, I was still teaching.
At the high school level?
I was teaching at the Syracuse University.
And you just breezed through the Depression with a little less income, but you still didn't have to worry about the relief or welfare.
Oh, no, nothing like that.
Yeah.
But everybody was in the same boat.
So you made the best with what you had.
That's right.
Yeah. I know that Morris Magner told me they worked an awful lot of jigsaw puzzles.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Do you remember Ku Klux Klan in Wabash?
Yes, I vaguely remember that. I was away from home.
I've been in the mid-20s.
Yes.
You've been about 27 years.
But I remember it. And they were agonizing times for people, I think. Many people did not believe in it, as the majority, the Quakers, of course, did not believe in it.
They did not participate or believe?
No.
Yeah.
Some did, I'm sorry to say, but majority of them did not.
After the Depression and your son is growing now and you're living in Kokomo and Mr. Evans is progressing in his job nicely and World War II comes on. And then what happens to the family?
I think nothing especially happened to us.
Yeah, you just kept going on at a smooth pace.
Yes.
Everyone at this time was still in
Our
good
boy
health.
was, he's 37 now. He's lieutenant commander in the Navy on reserve. And so it didn't affect us directly.
How long is he in the active duty with the Navy? Yeah.
Well, he went to OCS after college and took officer's training and was in for 3 years, you see, and has remained in.
Where does he live?
He lives in Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. Do you see the family much?
Yes, they were up Sunday.
Yeah. Does he have children?
He has one.
One?
And he works, he's vice president at People's Bank.
Oh, good. So you're not too far away
No.
where you don't get to see him?
No.
How do you, at 76, you're obviously not ashamed to tell anyone your age, how do you spend...
It's on a tombstone in the cemetery.
Did you think much of that idea?
Well, it didn't make any difference to me.
Yeah. What do you do with your leisure time?
I don't have much. I belong to a number of organizations and clubs. I belonged to the Thursday Study Club in Kokomo and Round Table, and Symphony Unit. I'm on the Symphony Unit board. I belong to the church and the country club, and I'm pretty busy, really, playing,
Yeah.
mostly maybe.
Do you still follow the Quaker religion?
Yes, I
Yes.
go to church.
Yeah, you're still active in the church, yeah.
Eh, Not very active at the moment,
Yeah.
but
But you
I
still
attend.
follow the
I
tenets
have
of
been active all my life, but at the moment I'm not.
Do you ever get lonesome?
Not particularly, no. I'm lonesome for my husband or my family, but I'm not lonely as some people speak of being lonely at all.
Do you drive?
No,
Don't drive.
I have glaucoma.
Yeah.
I can't drive.
Did you drive at one time?
No,
Never drove.
never did.
Do you ever wished you had it?
Yes, I did. That was my first quarrel with my husband.
What was?
He thought I was reckless, I think.
Yeah, that you shouldn't drive.
Yes.
Do you enjoy Wabash? Obviously.
Oh, yes, I think Wabash is a fine town.
Do you see any of your classmates from high school?
Yes.
And
There are not many here, and of my old crowd, I think Margaret Lynn is the only one, and in my class.
Oh.
But there are others who are in my class, Marvel Walrun, and there are few. Not many.
Yeah. Well, when you get older, of course, there's not going to be many. They're going
No,
to Florida or something.
That's right.
Do you go to Florida in the wintertime?
Yes,
To
I go to New Smyrna Beach.
Do you have a?
And my husband went for 15 years. He had a heart attack and it was necessary for us to go.
Do you have a apartment or a trailer or a condominium?
Yes, I go with Lois Yarnell.
That makes it real nice.
And we go to New Smyrna Beach in an apartment there overlooking the ocean, and we enjoy that.
Just enjoy the nice
Yes.
weather in the wintertime.
Yes, it's wonderful.
Do you find it hard to keep up a big house?
No, it just keeps me.
Yeah. Do you enjoy that, though, having a big house? With all your memories, the piano and the pictures and the chairs?
Not necessarily.
Really?
No,
You
I
think-
could live in a,
One room, maybe?
no, not one room, but an ample apartment in a convenient location. But I love this location. I can walk almost any place, and I like to walk.
You can walk downtown and to the drugstore.
Yes.
Every place.
Mhm.
Well, that does make it nice.
Yes.
How long have you lived in this house?
This house was built in 1900. And there was another house on this lot in which my husband was born. And he moved in here when he was 2 years old. And the house was built after Mark Honeywell's plans for his home, which was down on West Main, I believe. And he and Father Evans knew each other very well. And this was the second furnace that he ever put in, that Mark Honeywell ever put in
In this house?
in this house.
Yeah.
And we're still using it.
Well, I'll be darned.
It's converted to gas, of
Yeah.
course, but we're still using it. But I've only lived in the house 12 years.
But this was actually then the Evans home.
Yes, this
Yeah.
is the Evans home,
Well, that's amazing. And the second Honeywell installation is right here.
right here.
Yeah.
And the plans for this house was his plans for his home.
Were Mr. Honeywell's plans
Yes,
for his home
yes, for his home
on Main Street?
on Main Street.
Yeah. Now, they built similar? I think it was
Yes.
built out of brick, wasn't it? Or is it wood?
I think it's frame house
Frame. Yeah.
on
Well,
West Main. I believe it is.
Yeah. Well,
This house was just like it, I think.
Now, if this is the second installation, where's the first installation? In Mr.
In his own home.
In his own home. Well, I'll be
In
glad.
his own home.
Did you know Mr. Honeywell?
Yes. I know
And
Mr. Honeywell.
how did you become acquainted with him?
Well, just meeting him socially, I think.
Oh.
Jim knew him very well, my husband.
Yeah. Now, of course, Mr. Honeywell would have been 25 years. He'd been 100 this year.
Oh, yes.
He'd have been much older
Yes,
than you two.
very
would have
much
been,
older.
I'm sure when you were
Mhm.
starting out, Mr. Honeywell was already
Mhm.
established.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. What do you remember of Mr. Honeywell?
I first remember him as a relative of some of my school friends, and thought of him in those days as a much older man.
Mhm.
But later, when I'd meet him socially, I thought he was a very attractive, a man not as old as I thought.
Yeah. He liked to socialize.
Yes, he liked social life, and he liked things to look well. And,
Did you know Mrs. Olive Lutz Honeywell? Did you?
Yes, I knew her too.
Now, would she have been about your age or a little older?
No, she was considerably older
Older,
also. Mhm.
And how did you become acquainted with her? Through the same circles, or?
I think so.
Yeah.
Played bridge with her now and then, and just meeting her socially.
Yeah. Was she used to money, or she took it in stride?
Yes,
Did
I
she-
think she was very casual with her money.
Did he leave you that impression also, Mr. Honeywell?
I'm not sure about that.
Did you remember when she died, when the first?
Yes, I remember when she died.
Do you remember Mr. Honeywell marrying
Yes.
Mrs. Nixon? What do
I
you?
remember
You
that
probably
too.
remembered when the Nixons came to town.
Yes,
You remember Doug?
no, I don't remember. I wasn't here at that
You
time.
were off teaching.
Yes.
Uh,
But when, after we were married and we came back to live, well, then I met the Nixons.
so you had
I
met
knew
her.
Jean then.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What did you think when Mr. Honeywell married Mrs. Nixon?
Well, I think it was fine. I thought they were both getting what they wanted
Yeah.
in an individual.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do you think they complemented one
Yes,
another?
I think they did.
Yeah. She was a
Mhm.
very
I thought-
attractive woman.
She was a sweet person, too, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Of course, you probably had opportunities on the symphony board and other things.
Yes,
To, meet
she
with her.
was very generous. I have been entertained in her home. Both Jim and I had been entertained in her home, and knew her pretty well. Mhm.
She was a very gracious woman as far
Yes,
as
she
that.
was very gracious and down-to-earth type.
Do you remember anything unusual or funny that happened to the Honeywells when you and Jim were?
He told the story. I think that maybe Mildred Hipskin put that in her book, though. I believe she did.
What was the story? I don't
He was working with public service, and some of the tree men trimmed those trees going into the country club. And he raised Cain with Jim, so Jim got him in the car and they went out to see them.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim said, well, what do you want me to do? He said, I could give you a piece of money, but you don't need money, Mark. And I just can't go out and get those limbs and tie them back on. So what do you want me to do, Mark? And he laughed. He said, oh, that's all right, just don't have him do it again.
He was just trying to make Jim age, I think.
Yes, Jim had a number of funny stories to tell about him, but I didn't know him that well.
Do you remember any other stories that Jim used to tell?
No, I don't believe I do.
I'm surprised that the Honeywell people haven't been here looking at your furnace installation.
Really?
Yeah, if it's the second one that he put in.
Well, Gene Hipskin comes, and I said, don't I need a new furnace? He said, no, I'll tell you when you need a new furnace.
Yeah. Oh, I'll be right. Let's see. You know, I think that this is going to be interesting because I have a copy of this tape made. I'm going to send it to your son for your grandson to play someday.
Oh,
So I think it makes it known. And you're in pretty good health?
I'm in good health. I could tell you a great deal about the older generation, I think.
Speak.
Do you want me to?
Sure, I like to hear
Well,
about
I happen to have. Now, the Joneses had been here some long time before my grandfather Davis came, John Marshall Davis. He came as a little boy with his father, John Davis, and they had bought 320 acres of land west on the south side of the Wabash River, where the Quaker cemetery is now. In fact, the cemetery was part of their land, and he donated, that is, my great-grandfather donated the land to the church, and there was an old Quaker church there for years. And but the Joneses were already here. But in my grandfather's diary, now this who grew up here, he tells about all that bottom land being in green timber and how his father gave him this spotted colt, and he'd go out on the cliffs and the bluffs, a stone out there, you know, and with his colt and listen for the bells on their cows. They had about 100. And they learned to recognize their bells and bring in their own cows. And there were many, many Indians down there, but they were always friendly, never unfriendly. They came to the house and ate with them often. And then one interesting story he tells is about the rattlesnakes. The children would collect, the young people would collect after church and go over to Shanty Falls. Do you know where that is? And there was a large plateau, which was like a park where they played games. But in the spring, they go over to hunt the snakes. And they'd kill those snakes by making a fork with a stick and pinning them down to the ground so the snakes could not bite themselves. And then they'd use the snake oil for many purposes. And he said some of those rattlesnakes were 5 feet long.
It's hard to believe, isn't it?
And I don't know that we have any of them around here now.
I don't think any of
hope
them,
not.
yeah.
Now, when I was a child, we used to hike out to Shanty Falls and have a picnic, but I never realized that was my grandfather's farm.
Let me turn this tape over. We're in this part one. Any other stories about your grandfather that might be of interest that you could tell me? How did they, is the land still in the family?
No, that land is not. We have 2 ancestral farms. My son owns the Evans farm, his ancestral farm, which is southwest of town, too.
Now, you talk about land grant. This original farm of the Joneses
Of the Jones farm
was a land grant.
was a land grant.
Yeah, but that 360 acres is no longer in the family.
Well, I don't know. We don't have that many acres now, and I don't know how many acres it was when they took it out. But I think my father was born on that farm.
Are they all buried, your family all buried in the Quaker
In
cemetery?
the Quaker cemetery,
Very
most of them.
Of course, Laura Elliott, were they Quakers also?
No.
No, they were not?
Though one of his grandparents was a Quaker, or some of his ancestry is Quaker.
They would have been out in that same area except on this side of the river.
Well, not in those days, I think. I don't know when. I know that his father, Joe Elliott, used to tell Jim a good many things about my great-grandfather, so he knew him. And my great-grandfather lived where the Gilbert farm is now. And he was considered a judge for the Quakers. They didn't believe in going to court.
Oh, they didn't?
And so he was the judge who settled all their differences.
So when they would have property disputes or...
Yes,
You know,
everything like that. And they tell me he called all the family and as many as the relatives as he could and preached a regular sermon just before he died on his deathbed. And but there were several stories Joe Elliott used to tell Jim, but I don't remember them.
do you remember going to the Quaker church as a little girl?
Yes, I remember the old Quaker brick, which was in the center of the Quaker cemetery. And I remember the frame church down on Church Street. And then my father was one of the trustees who built the present Quaker church in 1905, I believe. So I remember that very well.
But you do remember the old Quaker church down in the
Oh, yes.
cemetery?
Yes.
And that's no longer there?
No.
Could you describe it to me?
Well, we kept it for many, many years for monthly meetings and special occasions and funerals and things. But it was a quaint old church, and it should have been kept forever.
What did it look like?
It was brick. They called it the Quaker Brick Church. And it had a partition that came right down in the center of it. So at the close of the meeting, the women could gather on one side and take care of all the women's affairs, and the men on the other and take care of all the men's affairs. And then there was a bench up in front where some of the older people sat, and we called them speakers in meetings. And later we did have Quaker ministers. And Aunt Frances Jenkins was a good old Quaker minister who used to come and preach every now and then. And I remember all those meetings.
In other words, you didn't have a formal minister when you were small?
No.
And just until relatively modern times that they could afford one? Or?
That's right. Well, in my early life, we had a minister when we had the frame church on the south side on Church Street.
But that old church you can remember, though, out in the
Yes, I can remember that.
Were there benches or pews or?
Benches.
Just benches.
Mhm.
And how did the older men dress in those days?
Well, now that's beyond my time.
But you can't remember how they dressed?
No. I can remember the speech, and I know how they dressed because I have a Quaker bonnet and pictures. But that's beyond my memory. Mother always said, well, we don't believe in being conspicuous, so we should drop the speech and drop the dress. But Father was a great storyteller. And do you remember Lauren Talbert?
That would be Harold's father?
No, Harold's first cousin.
No.
My father's sister married Alonzo Talbert, and Lauren Talbert lived here a good many years. And when he was a little boy, he went fishing with his father. And he held up a string of fish and said, if thee was me, would thee take these little fishes home with thee? And that was one of my father's favorite stories of the Quaker language. Mother and father didn't speak the Quaker language, but father's people all did.
They all did. Yeah.
Hmm. Plain language, we called
Is
it.
that what you called it, plain language?
Plain language. But it got to the point where it was no longer plain,
Yeah.
and it was conspicuous, you know.
Yes. Yeah.
So, mother and father were more modern.
Of course, it's too bad, really, that you didn't get to see your grandparents.
I never knew my grandparents.
But,
My parents were 40 when I was born.
As I say, it would have been nice to have that generation to
Yes.
compare Quaker. Things have certainly changed, though. I mean, even in the Quaker Church.
Oh, their form of service here is about like any other church.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Mr. Mills, he was Quaker, wasn't
Yes.
he? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know the family
Oh,
all your
yes.
life?
Yes.
Yeah.
I knew the Nelsons.
Nice people.
Very nice people.
Oh, nice.